Hey everybody, welcome back to the George Horlock Coaching Q&A podcast. This is episode 2 already. It's gone quickly. Thank you for all the support for my last episode. I got some good feedback. You guys are enjoying it. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and definitely give this video a like, because then I know that you're enjoying the content and I will keep producing it. Also, you'll see in the bottom right hand corner there, it says George Horlock Coaching. That is where you can find me on Instagram. So go ahead, follow me on Instagram, and then you can send in your messages, okay? Because this is what this podcast is all about, me answering your health and fitness questions. And I will always answer them live on this podcast. So if you have a question for me, please follow me on Instagram and send in your question. And chances are I will answer it next time. I always try and keep it short and sweet, so 4 or 5 questions, because I don't want these podcasts to be like 2 or 3 hours long. Just 30 minutes, 35, and hopefully you can gain some knowledge from these. So without further ado, we're going to move on to the first question. So I really connected with this question. Ultimately, the guy is asking, he says, I always worry about what I eat. I just always get anxious I'm going to get a disease. And the reason that this one touched me is because I myself have been in this boat, and it's not a nice place to be. And I want to start by saying that you're not alone. So if anybody's resonating with this question, you're certainly not alone. It's extraordinarily common to develop this fear of food. Rightly so as well, because there's so much out there and so much misinformation and so many people preaching different things. I'm included in that, right? So you've got George Horlock Coaching over here saying, make sure you're eating tons of fruits and vegetables. And then you've got Liver King over on Instagram speaking to a million guys saying, don't touch fruits and vegetables. They're going to kill you. So I completely understand this. And like I said, it's a very scary place to be, and I sympathize. But what I will say is this: think about what you said there. So you're worried about what you eat. You're anxious that you're going to get a disease. Now, that's a beautiful thing. It shows that you care about your body. It shows that you care about yourself. And not a lot of people do. And not a lot of people care about getting a disease. If you go to your local supermarket, I guarantee 85 to 90% of the people walking around are severely overweight, not just a bit chubby. I'm talking obese or morbidly obese, right? People don't take care of themselves. People don't care about their health. They only do when it's too late. You know, when they go to the doctor and they say you've got a disease, then they care about their health. But you know how many people get diagnosed with lung cancer and they carry on smoking, liver cancer, but they carry on drinking? People don't actually care about their health that much. And we can go into a deeper topic on this at a later time, that it's not necessarily them who doesn't care about their health. It's just the conditioning over the years where they can't break out of those problems that they built out for themselves and those habits. So firstly, I think it's amazing. I think it's great that you are concerned with getting a disease. But don't be, because you're clearly going to figure it out. You know, if you're worried about getting a disease, clearly you're going to do your research. You've reached out, you've sent me a question. I guarantee you're going online and you're doing further research. And eventually you'll come to the same conclusion that I came to, which is if you do good by your body, it will do good for you. The body loves you. The body is trying to heal itself all the time. It doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to get a disease. It doesn't want to become ill. It doesn't want to be overweight. It doesn't want to be underweight. Okay, it wants to feel good and thrive, and it will do everything in its power to make you feel like that. And it's extraordinary what it can do for you. The best way to go with avoiding disease is breaking down what disease is. It's dis-ease. When the body isn't at ease, when it's not in alignment with how it wants to live. Now, the body needs a certain amount of vitamins, minerals, and all of these things, but I wouldn't even worry too much about that. I would just look out to what we've always eaten, right? Fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, seeds, legumes. Eating these foods can't cause disease in the body. Okay, they just can't. There's no study that will ever come out that will say, yep, it's the killer carrot study. It's the poison potato study. I was going to throw out a third one then, but I was worried I wouldn't actually rhyme it as good as I did just there. The poison potato study. Imagine potatoes are bad for you. Plants are the most healing foods on the planet. So long as you're eating a plant-based diet, your risk of disease goes down to virtually nothing through food. There are other ways of getting diseases. Don't even worry about genetically modified, herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, organic, non-organic. Don't worry about any of that stuff yet. You can come to that at a later date. So long as you're eating plant-based 3 times a day, 4 times a day, more than that if you're training to build muscle, like my guys are on my coaching program, then you're going to be absolutely fine. You're going to be super healthy. It's what the body craves. It's what the body wants. You give a strawberry to a baby child, they know it goes into the mouth. The body is very intelligent. They don't try and prod it into their ear or into their eye or their nose first. They know instinctively it goes into the mouth, right? Once you've gone for a long walk, you crave water. You crave a hearty, carby meal, potatoes, pasta, rice. Keep fueling your body with that. Vegans have the lowest rate of all-cause disease through food. The largest study ever conducted on humans relating the link between nutrition and disease showed that the more plant-based foods you eat, the less disease you get. So my answer to you sending this question is eat as many plant-based foods as you can. Get in your fruits in the morning, loads of fruit, tons of fruit. Have a nice plant-based meal for lunch. Get your potatoes in, get your vegetables in, get your rice in, quinoa. Same thing for dinner, pasta, rice. I love making my own seitan. You guys know this by now. I make that out of gluten flour, mix it up with some regular flour, loads of herbs, spices, mix it up, fry it up, cooks beautifully, super high in protein, really nutritious, 0 cholesterol, 0 saturated fat. When we look at disease, the big ones out there, it's all caused through eating the wrong foods. And it's the foods that you'll never hear me advocate. So you need to cut out the meat, you need to cut out the dairy, the eggs. You need to cut out these high cholesterol forming foods, the high mucus foods, the foods that the body has a tough time breaking down and ultimately puts the body into a state of dis-ease. If your body's constantly in a state of dis-ease, eventually disease will manifest. And yes, of course, there's always going to be the odd story that you hear about the person who was super healthy and they only ever ate really healthy and then they got a really horrible disease. Dis-ease can manifest in the body in so many different ways. You know how many people are stressed and they don't even realize they're stressed? And stress is such a big killer. They say it's the #1 killer. And so many of us are stressed that we don't even realize it. You might not be getting deep sleep every night and you don't even realize it. And it's causing disease within the body. Food is very basic. I'm going to get onto this later with some other questions. Food is super basic. But later I'm going to talk about all other animals in nature. They only eat 1, 2, 3 different types of foods and that's it, and they're fine. But we've got such a vast variety of choice that we feel overwhelmed. And when we feel overwhelmed, it causes stress. And then we think, oh, is it good to eat this? Is it good to eat that? Humans thrive eating plants. Find what your favorite plants are, consume those, and your chances of disease are going to go right down. There's a fantastic book called The China Study. You can also look into the blue zones as well if you're worried on what you should or should not be eating. So hopefully that puts your mind at rest a little bit. And remember that the body's working for you. You treat it right, it will treat you right. You can treat yourself, you can eat a bit of junk food here and there as well. It's absolutely fine. Follow the 80-20 rule. 80% on it, 20% take some time off. That's what I do. I eat healthy Monday to Friday. At the weekends, I'll have a bit of junk food here and there. It's absolutely fine. It does nothing for you. Trust me. The body is amazing. Far more amazing than we've been told. So don't be too anxious about what you're eating. just make sure that what you're eating is plant-based and that it came from the earth and not from a laboratory. Okay, the next question was, does a vegan diet decrease testosterone? It's a great question. No, it doesn't. It does the opposite. It increases testosterone, especially in men. This is an anecdote, but I couldn't grow a beard when I ate loads of meat, and then when I went vegan, adopted the vegan lifestyle, and as a result, ate a plant-based diet, I grew a big, bushy, fluffy beard, and I started developing chest hair and all this stuff. And I didn't turn vegan when I was going through puberty. I was well into being an adult when I went vegan. So, no, it absolutely increases natural testosterone in men. So don't ever worry about that. Fruits and vegetables, they're so good at raising your testosterone. In fact, if you do have low testosterone and you're tested for it, one of the implications that they'll recommend for your diet change is to increase your fruit and vegetable intake, because they know how good it is at increasing your testosterone. Okay, so this next question is best vegan foods for iron and omega-3, and how much does a human need per day? So it's a fantastic question, something that we should all be taught in school. So how much iron does a human need per day? It does vary, and the numbers are always changing, but at the moment they seem to agree that a male adult needs about 9 milligrams per day, and then a female can have anywhere between 20 to 50 milligrams a day. So considerably higher, but you also have to remember that women lose a lot of blood every month, so there is going to be a higher demand, and the body is going to require higher levels of iron to constantly be in the system for a woman for protection. So the best sources, you can find iron everywhere. It's a bit like vitamin C. It's just everywhere in the plant kingdom. Where did I get my 9 milligrams from today? Well, I got 10 milligrams just from eating a handful of dates. So dates are a fantastic source of iron. They're in the majority of fruits, the majority of vegetables, especially root vegetables. There's heavy traces of iron found in the soil. So any vegetable that grows in soil is going to have high traces of iron in there as well. The reason that people worry a lot about iron is because one of the biggest symptoms of iron deficiency is fatigue. And most people these days are fatigued. Therefore, a lot of people self-diagnose themselves as being low in iron. You're probably not low in iron. It's very difficult to be low in iron. And oftentimes, if you are low in iron, it's actually because you're low in something else that iron needs to be absorbed. For example, copper. A lot of people don't get enough copper in their diet, and iron requires copper to absorb properly into the body. Now, don't jump and buy some copper pills and pop those. I'm saying in nature, vitamins come in a natural chain. If you imagine it like a bracelet, there's a natural chain. So iron would need vitamin C, magnesium, and copper, for example, to fully be absorbed. Now, if you take a supplement and you just take iron on its own, it's not going to have those other vitamins and minerals. So it will leach them from your body to correct the process. And then you can start becoming malnourished in other areas. So don't get me wrong, like vitamin tablets do have their place, and I take B12 each day, but certainly don't rely on them, and don't take them every day, year after year after year. Try and get them from foods. They're called supplements for a reason, right? They supplement your diet. So if you are struggling with a certain vitamin or mineral, you could supplement with that supplement for a bit, and then get back to just eating natural foods, because there isn't a single animal in the wild who needs supplements, right? It's never been a thing. Nature didn't create it. But again, I'm not bashing them, because they can have their place. So anyway, yeah, I got a handful of dates earlier, so that gave me over my RDA for 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 iron. I also had some olives earlier as well, a handful of olives. They've got about 5 milligrams per cup, or per serving. So olives are a great shout as well. Any kind of fruit, but like I say, root vegetables are really good for iron. And also if you're eating things like lentils, chickpeas, beans, these are very, very high iron foods. And it's healthy iron. You can't overdo it. So if you go beyond your RDA, it's not a problem. Whereas when you consume animal products, let's just say you're eating a steak, the only iron that's in steak is something called heme iron. And heme iron has been linked with all kinds of diseases, especially cancer. So try not to ever get heme iron in your diet. That's the one that you can overdose. And if you have too much heme iron in your system, it absolutely causes disease. It's also extremely high in fully formed vitamin A. I think it's called, what is it called? Something osis. Slipped my mind now. But anyway, you can basically poison yourself from having too much vitamin A. However, the vitamin A that you get in plants isn't quite the same. It's not fully formed. Your body turns it into fully formed vitamin A, and it's the same with iron. It does the same thing. So it's really interesting how it all works. It's a fascinating topic. Nutrition and everything like that is really interested. It really interests me. And there's a relationship between plants and humans, and they work together, which is really cool. So yeah, don't worry about iron. Just keep eating your plant-based foods. Maybe eat more dates. If you're not eating dates, just have a big handful of dates a couple times a day, and you're going to get, at least 20 milligrams just from those 2 handfuls. And then as long as you're eating potatoes and lentils, chickpeas and other vegetables, more fruits, olives, you'll be getting plenty of iron. Omega-3 is a funny one, because there's not actually a way to test if somebody is deficient in omega-3. However, the symptoms of being deficient in omega-3 are so extreme that you'd feel like you're dying if you were extremely deficient in omega-3. You really need it, and we all get it from certain foods. So what I like to do is I buy milled flax seeds and chia seeds, and I mix those in with like porridge or smoothies, or put them over salads and whatever. But make sure it's milled, because milled means they're ground down. Because if they're not ground down, and they're just in their normal seed form, then when you eat them, your body won't process it, because it recognizes that it's a seed. And if the seed hasn't been broken down, then what it will do is when you poop it out, it will be in a perfect little block of manure, and that will grow. It's like compost. It will grow into another tree, or it's just nature's way of ensuring it can spread its seeds. So yeah, make sure they're milled to get the benefits. And what will happen is you will receive a lot of omega-3 in the form of ALA. And there's 3 types. You've got ALA, LAA, ALA, EPA, and DHA. Now, the main one you're getting is ALA. And the reason I'm not saying the full word is because it's a really long scientific word. But the reason that, you'll be getting a lot of ALA, but what happens is your body then converts that, a bit like the iron and the vitamin A. Your body will then convert that to EPA and DHA. There's a big battle going on in the science world of how much the conversion rate is. And you'll get some people who say, oh, there's no conversion whatsoever. It's so minuscule. And then you'll get other people saying, well, you can clearly get enough EPA and DHA. The way I see it is, vegans don't have higher rates of omega-3 deficiency. Therefore, that's enough proof that your body will convert enough ALA into EPA and DHA. And if you buy a vegan omega-3 vitamin, or like a gel or something that you eat every day, if you look on the ingredients, it's all the stuff that I've just mentioned. It's the oils, it's the hemp oil, the pumpkin seed oil, the hemp oil, the flax oil, the grapeseed oil. It's all the stuff that I've just recommended. So it does show that those foods will give you enough EPA and DHA once consumed. The body will do what it's designed to do. You'll also know if you're deficient in anything, by the way. The body is really good at giving signals. Like if you're deficient in vitamin C, your body will crave the food that's associated with vitamin C. It will tell you what you need. And then if you go ahead and eat that, so let's just say you're craving oranges and you eat an orange, you'll then crave oranges like there's no tomorrow, because the body will think, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, I'm around an orange tree, so let's get as much as possible. If you're deficient in iron and you eat a potato, your body's like, oh, finally I have access to potatoes. Let's just eat loads of them to make sure I'm topped up on iron. So rather than thinking you're deficient in iron or omega-3, you might just not be getting enough sleep at night. You might be having too much screen time. You might be too stressed. You might be hanging around the wrong people. You might be waking up each day and not feeling like you have a purpose, and that can cause a lot of fatigue. So hopefully that answers your question. Don't worry about iron or omega-3. Lots of easy sources to get it from. But if you have any further questions on it, send me a message on Instagram. Just to let you know, guys, it's that time. Just before we answer the last question, you can book a health call with me. And if you want to do that, just go ahead and send me an email, georgehorlockpt@gmail.com. So that's the name George, and then HORLOCKPT@gmail.com, where you can book an hour's consultation with myself, and we can talk about all the questions that you may or may not have about your health and well-being and becoming stronger and fitter in your best version. Turns out that was actually the last question. So thank you so much for listening today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope you learned a lot. And you can find me at George Horlock Coaching on Instagram, or you can go to my website, www.georgehorlockcoaching.com, where I help men who are either vegan or aspiring to be vegan to look and feel their best. And there's a picture up on screen now of me. I was vegan in both of these pictures. And this is my natural transformation of building muscle and feeling so much more confident in myself. And if you want those results, if you want to build muscle, if you want to feel more confident, then just get in touch, send me a message, fill out the contact form, and I can get you enrolled and onto my program, my personalized program for you. It's the exact program that I followed to get these results, and it all takes place through an app. And on that app, you have access to me, so you can message me directly one-to-one, and you can crack on with the exercises. There's video tutorials with everything, and it's a really fun app. And each month, the workout changes, right? So each month, you've got a brand new set of exercises, of workouts, and we all crack on together as a team, and we really enjoy it. So go ahead, go to the website, let me know that you're interested, or if you want to do the one-to-one, book a health call with me, let me know. We'll get you booked onto that as soon as possible. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely week. Once again, be sure to follow on the Instagram, subscribe to the channel, and please leave a like. I will see you again next week, but until then, get on Instagram, message me your questions, and we will go again next week. Take care, guys. Stay healthy.